First and foremost thing people need to keep in mind when approaching any abandoned mine is to stay out and stay alive. That's the best policy.
There's some really dangerous openings, there's some deep shafts, and there are houses built all around these coal mines. So for this reason, this is a real priority for us to close these mines.
Even things that look relatively benign can trap you if you're not careful.
Abandoned mines present numerous hazards to the public, primarily health and safety hazards. An old shaft is a dangerous place to be in. These mines were not built to last for centuries, and they were often built centuries ago.
Hard rock mining comes with its own unique terminology. Big opening behind me here is called an open stope. It wasn't always an open stope, it used to be an adit. People see mine openings and they call them shafts. These terms have very, very specific meaning.
Mines are dug to follow an externally visible vein of valuable ore into a formation. An adit is a horizontal mine entry. The opening to an adit is referred to as a portal. An adit can become a tunnel if it is open at both ends. The top of an adit is referred to as the back, and the sides are referred to as the ribs. Miners often dug directly down to follow a vein. A shaft is a vertical mine feature. The opening to a shaft is referred to as a collar. A sump can be described as a continuation of a shaft, specifically dug to protect other parts of the mine from flooding. Consider a sump a collection cup for excess rain or groundwater. Drifts are horizontal underground mine passages dug off a shaft to follow the vein in an attempt to mine as much valuable ore as possible. A winze is a shaft dug within an adit or drift to explore the lower level of ground for ore below the original vein. If an adit or drift is successful in following a vein to a large ore body, a stope will be made by removing all the available ore. The resulting stope can resemble a cavern. Larger stopes are often referred to as ballrooms. If a stope reaches the surface, it is referred to as an open stope.
This shaft is only 35 feet deep. If a person were to fall in, they could get seriously injured or even killed. And a cry for help would just not be heard in this remote location.
People seem to be fascinated by those, and they want to get up and look down on them or throw something down on them. And should they slip and fall in it, it's going to be a disaster.
And I've got a hard hat on, and that hard hat would protect me from a rock about that size if it fell maybe 10 feet. If that falls 200 feet, it's going to go through that hard hat with a sickening crunch.
Just the other day, I was back there riding and just checking pastures and checking the cattle, and darn, you just ride up on a ridge and all of a sudden there's a mine. It just surprised me because it was there. I thought I knew where every mine on this place was, but I was wrong.
You have to assume that they're not at all usable. And if you go down a ladder, it may be the upper part of the ladder is pretty good and you get down 30 or 40 feet and then all of a sudden the steps start breaking out from underneath of you. Or you get down to the bottom and then you try to come back out and the steps start breaking as you try to go up and you can't get back.
Well, they didn't protect those winzes oftentimes. Somebody walks in an abandoned mine, they're typically looking up at the back or the rib. Most of the deaths that we have in abandoned mines are from people walking in, looking at the back or the rib and falling to their death down a winze.
Well, there's a risk anytime you're around an abandoned mine, such as roof collapsing on you, because they use dynamite and that cracked the rock. And the miners put up posts to hold that roof up. But over the time that the mine is abandoned, those posts tend to rot. And that roof will fall down someday and kill whoever's underneath it.
Light is a critical thing. Simple tasks like moving 25 feet become incredibly complex. Now, oftentimes what will happen is when you lose light underground, you panic. There's something you don't like to find. There's a whole box of old dynamite.
the nitroglycerin tends to come out of the filler material and to collect in pools underneath the dynamite box. And so disturbing this pile of dynamite could lead to an explosion.
Because of their policy of always putting together a history of the mine that they're going to work on, they've also contributed substantially to our understanding of mining history in New Mexico. As I think of all the state agencies that are involved in historic preservation, AML has truly, as a consequence of its policy, it has contributed substantially to our understanding of the evolution of mining in New Mexico.